The recession is here. Oh wait, is it? I don't know. They keep changing the definition. But should you buy a house right now? In this video, I'm going to keep it real simple. There's really one thing in my mind that you need to determine whether or not you should be buying a house in today's market. If this is the first time you're checking out my channel, my name is Sean Uyehara. I'm a branch manager with Loan Depot, helping you finance your homes all across the country. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or a seasoned investor or simply a homeowner trying to figure out how to manage your mortgage, I'm here to help simplify that process and help you get your mortgage right. You can hit the description below. There's links to more information on how to do so. And if you ever need a second opinion, that's what my team and I are here for. You can always send us an email and we will do a free, no cost analysis for you. Now, the one thing that you have to ask yourself about buying a house in today's market is, can you afford the payment? And I know you might say, Sean, that's pretty obvious. I'm already thinking about that. That's good. I'm glad you are, because in the last couple of years, the market was so crazy. I don't think a lot of people thought about what their payment was. They were buying simply because interest rates were low and because everybody else was buying a house. And it was just so easy to do so. So I think that now interest rates have gone up. We are seeing rates in the 7% range, and some of you might freak out, and don't worry, that is where interest rates are today. They are in the sevens. You have to have a good game plan more than ever. And I think a lot of the advice that maybe you would have gotten from your friends, family, or even the media in the past, you may have listened to. I think now more than ever, you need to decide what works for you. So you have to tune out all the noise, figure out your budget, and figure out what works for you. Now, working with a loan officer like myself, we need to figure out what is that budget and what's comfortable for you. I think that's the number one thing you have to consider. How comfortable can I be making a certain mortgage payment? If you don't know what that number is, you either need to come up with a budget yourself or get with a loan officer to figure that number out. And why that number is so important, because home prices are going to do whatever they decide to do, right? Especially if you're living in the house. You could buy a house today and you know what? You might lose 5%, maybe 10% of the value. But if you're buying it to live there, you probably have a longer term vision, which I hope you do. If you don't, this may not be the market for you to buy in. But knowing that your budget is comfortable, regardless if the market goes up, regardless if the market goes down, you have to pay rent somewhere if you don't decide to buy. If that number is comfortable, then who cares where the market goes? I've told you my story over and over. I bought my house during the crash. And you know what? I've lost probably 30 to 40% of the value from the time I bought that house. However, I needed a place to live. And that mortgage payment has not changed in the last 10 plus years that I've owned that house. I could probably rent that house out for almost triple of what my mortgage payment is today. So for those of you that are renting, you have to think longer term as well. If you're on the fence about buying today, that's fine. But when does your lease expire? And how much is your landlord going to increase your rent on you? I don't think it's a matter of will they. I think it's more than definite that landlords are going to increase the rent these days. So you have to face the music. Are they going to increase it $200, $300, $400 a month? If that's the case, does that then give you the equivalent to what a mortgage payment is? And if that's the case, why not try to buy today? So you can at least manage that largest living expense that we all face, whether it's rent or a mortgage. So the payment to me is the most important thing, because again, if you are focusing on interest rates can go up, interest rates can go down. In fact, I think interest rates are going to get worse in the next several months. I think we might even get close to the 9 and 10% range. Some of you might disagree with me, but that's fine. In fact, if you do, I'd love for you to comment below and you tell me where you think interest rates are going to be in the next 3 to 6 months. I think things are going to get worse before they get better. So again, if I'm comfortable with the payment, I don't necessarily care where the rates go, because I know that in the future, when rates do come down, I'm going to refinance, which means the house that I've been living in for X months, it will now become cheaper for me to live in the property. And hopefully I've built up some equity while living there as well. So the two things that so many people get focused on is price and rate. But those two things will always change. And you can't necessarily control price, because that's going to move as the market moves. Same thing with rate. You can't control the rate. It's going to move as the Fed announces, hey, we're going to raise another 75 basis points. Guess what? Mortgage rates are probably going to go up. You have no control over that. Yes, there are programs like a 2-1 buy down, or you can even look at adjustable rate mortgages. They are starting to make somewhat of a comeback, but I'm sure the minute you hear it in an ARM, you're freaking out already. So you have to look at what options work best for you. And for those of you that have watched my channel, you know I'm big on strategy. I'm big on having the right strategy in place when you purchase your home. Anybody can quote you a low rate. However, that may not be the best option for you. Your loan officer should be showing you at least 2 to 4 options with your pre-approval. And if they're not doing that, I would definitely recommend shopping around or pressing them a little more to give you that information. So most importantly is the payment. Can you comfortably make that payment every single month? Ignore the price, ignore the interest rate. Look at the monthly payment. If that's something that you can stomach every month and it doesn't bother you, I think you should get out there and look to purchase. However, if it's the other way around and you don't like the payment, or the payment doesn't get you as much house as you like, now you need to figure out what is it going to take for you to purchase the amount of home that you're looking for, or maybe you do need to sit on the sidelines and fix your credit, maybe pay off some debt, or wait for a better time to get into the market simply because you are limited maybe on your income. Now, I know you probably expected a complicated answer, but I think that's the number one thing every home buyer needs to think about today is, what is my monthly payment? Can I simply afford that, or am I stretching myself? Don't put yourself in a bad position where you're house poor and you might run the risk of foreclosing on your house. Be smart about your home purchase, and if you need a second opinion or you're ready to get pre-approved, hit the link below and I'll see you on the next video.